reality. With our black nation, a reality.
This is my perspective. It's my perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. It's my perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. My perspective. It's my perspective. My perspective. It's my perspective. And welcome everybody to another episode of the New African Perspective, the show that is dedicated to the liberation of new African people. I'm your host, Brother Prophecy, but I'm not by myself because y'all know it by now. With me are the President and Vice President of the mighty Republic of New Africa, and they are none other than
Mama I free the land.
Mama Ayo, free the land.
No doubt, and we're part of something called the New African Independence Movement. We're down with the Republic of New Africa, and that's where we strive and fight and struggle to bring about our own land, independence, self-determination, reparation, and we're trying to create an economic system that ain't about exploiting everybody, y'all. In other words, we're trying to get real freedom, not that pseudo-freedom, real freedom. But how everybody doing today?
We're doing fantastic.
Enjoying this day. Commemorating, memorializing, doing wonderful things. Yes.
Definitely. We have a big show planned. I mean, it's kind of been a big weekend. It's the not Memorial Day, but Juneteenth weekend. Today is, of course, Juneteenth. Yesterday was Father's Day. So, we kind of got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to celebrate. I guess I kind of start right there. Yesterday was Father's Day, and, it's a lot. That's significant for us because Black fathers, in many ways, overlooked. In many ways, there's a lot going on as far as the whole subject around Black fatherhood is concerned in our community. So, what are some of y'all thoughts on Father's Day, as far as from our perspective?
Well, from honestly speaking, we have adopted. Well, no, I can't really say that because we do have certain times of the year traditionally, even within our traditional indigenous, Aboriginal, African communities and villages, we had specific days that we did celebration for different community members, whether it was fathers, whether it was mothers, so I can't really say that is something that Europeans do, but in our principles, in our traditional principles, you honor your mother and father every single day, right? It's something that is you do every single day. And then there may be special celebration days for various members in the community. So there's certain days that you would honor fathers, you know what I'm saying? That's just something that we have always done. We've always honored community members. I'm saying community members because we as a people, we celebrate all aspects of life, right? In terms of children, in terms of women, in terms of men, we acknowledge all the different aspects of life. It was not until our capture, our colonial capture, right? And being captured for all of these years and still captured, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, socially, right? In the ways and means that we commune with one another. It's not until where we had to like really, really, really zero in and focus on, well, make sure you honor your father today, right? We've lost our, in a sense, and I'm speaking overall, you know what I mean? Yes, we still have pockets of strong community. We still have pockets of strong family. So I'm not saying that it's totally erased. Yet when we cast our scope out, fathers be mad disrespected. Huh? Very much so. Very, very, very much so. And even despite statistics showing that Black fathers, out of all fathers, no matter what the color father is, Black fathers are the most involved in their children's life. The most involved, meaning in terms of quality time, not just present, a male figure present. I'm talking about time. Most involved, statistically speaking, right? So, within this particular system, men and women are pitted up against one another. We know that it's a whole setup. It's a whole setup, and sadly, a lot of us fall for it. We fall for the setup on both ends. You know, I'm really, really. It's disheartening listening to the battle of the sexes within the Black community, as if we have it. We need anything else to battle, right, amongst ourselves. Like we don't, you know. But in short, um, we've always honored fathers every single day. So every single day you should honor your father. You know, speak to your father with respect. Fathers are extremely important because they set boundaries, strong boundaries. More so, like, I got your back, yet they will push you as far as you can possibly go. Right? They push you, yet they're strong disciplinarians. They create structure and order. You know, so fathers are extremely important. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm shut up now.
Gotcha. What about you, Mama Ayo?
I think that fathers are very important in our life. I know that because of the system, they are not present and accounted for as much as we would like them to be. A lot of our fathers are absentee fathers. They are not present in the majority of what and haven't been for a while. And we know the reasons why. Many of them are incarcerated. Many of them are just not present for whatever reason that is. And because of the social manipulation. Remember, we're all social manipulations, and we've got to try to step out of those particular boundaries. And we have a lot of circumstances where, because our fathers have not been as active in their children's lives, because either we're dealing with blended family situations, not being allowed through the process, through the legal system, to be present, and just not knowing and not being able to understand from a culture perspective what it is. What Sister Saw painted was, yeah, back in the day, that was really, really true. Yeah, presently we've got pockets, but that particular scenario that she painted, that ain't real in today's society for the majority. Minority, yes. Majority, no. That's not happening. You appreciate the fathers that are there, that are present, that are holding it down, that are really there as that strong force in the family. That's not happening. That's not happening in many of the younger women, middle-aged women's lives. I mean, we have women who've never had a man. They have children, but they haven't never had a father in the family. And the men in their lives have not been that force that you could call, hey, brother, hey, nephew, hey, stepdad, blah, 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 because the family has been broken. I'm looking at family dynamics. The family has been broken. And so that particular institution of fatherhood has blurred lines. And I want to say that really, really sincerely. Blurred lines. And so when we see a strong dad, the fathers are in our midst, that are fathers not only to their own but to others. That's like a burden, a burden being taken off of our shoulders, because they know, and we know at any time when they're called, they're going to be there. They're going to be that mentor. They're going to be that, hey, come with us, gather the boys and the girls, and let's, they're safe. And that unfortunately is not the norm, but the exception. So kudos to fathers, to brothers who are holding it down, brothers who stand and defend and protect. And I mean that, all of us, the women, we just, when we know that energy is around fathers, it's just easier on us, because we've been holding the line a long time. And with that, I yield.
Okay,
Okay.
hold on, my bag. I just lost my. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Father's Day, it's an interesting dynamic, especially when I, look at both of what you all said. Um, we understand that traditionally the African male in society's role was to be the protector, the provider, the guide, the leader in the community. And we understand that our people have been under war, under attack for over 400 years. And one of the most effective military strategies that a military will enact on their enemy is to take out the individuals who's supposed to be the leadership, the protectors, the guide. It's basically there's a saying: you cut off the head, the body can't survive. And this has been a tactic that has been waged on us from day one. So when you see the problem with the lack of fathers in the homes in our community, that is the result of a war that has been waged on us. We have to be clear about that. We also have to be careful. We got to make sure that and this goes back to something Sama said, because she quoted a statistic, and the statistic is actually a modern statistic, a statistic that we don't that a lot of times don't even register with us, because we see all the negative, we dwell all the negative, in the positive just gets swept away. A lot of times, me personally, as a Black father, I feel like I'm invisible, because all I hear is, you don't exist, you don't exist, you're not real, you're a figment, you're a unicorn, you're a figment of the imagination. And I'm like, I'm standing here, I'm like, yes, I am. I'm here. I'm here. And this brother right here is here, and there's people I know here. And when I actually re-examine my personal life and I look, I'd be like, hold on, wait, I know a whole lot of Black fathers that's holding it down, this great and wonderful and all of that. The reality is, this individual that's absent from their family life exists. That's real. That's real. The single mother who is struggling, she exists. She is real, and there's too many of us. Mm-hmm. And we can't, you can't run away from that. You can't, so you got to have a balance at the same time. But like the statistic in which you quoted, that's real. That's actually Martin. And most people, it don't even register the fact that Black men can be involved in their children's lives more than other races. They don't even think that can be real, because far as the perspective of the mainstream, Black fatherhoods are non-existent. So, and it's important that we kind of deal with this issue on a bigger level, because if you look at the broader society, even in the mainstream, there's kind of this campaign to elevate women, which you should. You see a Black girl rock campaign, and Black girls do definitely rock. Y'all got it going on and stuff, but you never see anything about a Black boy rock. Nothing ever, in the mainstream society says, Black boy, you're something great. Black boy, you uplift, you never see that. And when you look at it, Black boys are the people who probably need that the most, because when you look at society, what are Black males told? They told you a thug, you a gangster, you a killer, you a deadbeat, dead, you don't take care of your children, you ain't about nothing, you worthless, you've never been nothing, and you never will be anything. These are the messages that our Black boys are getting. So we got to make a conscious effort to really change that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think, Father's Day is really important, and it's really has to be upon the men of the community to get together. As a matter of fact, that's something I was in a program and I talked about yesterday, about a rites of passage program for boys. So we can start introducing boys who don't have that positive role model and a positive figure in their lives. So we can introduce them to men, real men, and so they can learn how to be real men. And it's it's a dynamic, a serious dynamic that was caused by individuals who are external to our community in an attempt to neutralize our community and remove us from being a threat, so they can continue to exploit our community effectively with minimum resistance. But although we know the cause of the problem, it's still going to be up to us to change that dynamic. So that's an interesting subject. And it's kind of funny that it kind of went this route, because we initially weren't even planning on talking about this. But I mean, this is a subject that we're going to have to revisit and maybe do give it the justice that it deserves. But
And
yeah,
brother
yes.
prophecy, the brothers that you are talking about too,
Mm,
because the talk is always a rites of passage for the brothers, which is very, very important.
mm-hmm,
For the youth, it's very, very important so that they can actually have some manhood principles instilled to them that doesn't come from others, that doesn't really understand manhood, fatherhood, responsibility, defense and protection, and healing, and
mm-hmm.
being that melanated being. I would just charge the brothers who are going to come together to do that, that you must take yourself through that first before you to do.
Mhm.
That's actually a good point. A good point. So yeah, so man, we got all heavy and deep all early
I
in the show.
mean, hey, that's what we do because we in the deep situation. It's deep, guys. Deep.
Yeah, for real, for real.
You hear me?
I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Make sure y'all drop a like, hit that like button, and drop a comment. Let us know who's
Crackle.
out there. So we can converse with you, properly greet you. Um, Madam President, Samaat, what we got on tap for the show today?
Okay, so since it is Juneteenth officially today, right?
Mm-hmm.
June 19th. We're gonna talk about Juneteenth. Juneteenth and what that should mean to us from a new African perspective. Okay, so that's gonna be our main topic. Also the commemoration of the Denmark VC rebellion that
Mm,
did never actually took place, but it was scheduled around this time
yep.
200 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Around 200 years ago. We're going to talk about what happened, what took place within that rebellion that we can learn from, right? We can most definitely learn from in terms of the plans that were on the table. And then, of course, we'll get deeper into that. Some of the same stuff we see today, right?
Mm, yep.
And then for those of you who have not visited our PG-RNA uh, dot com website, we're gonna cover what's actually on there. Okay, for our cadre corner, there are a lot of basic documents that you can find at our PG-RNA. So Mama Aya is going to kind of expound on that so you guys can know what resources are available to you. But first, I don't know if there's anything else that we want to discuss before we move into our main topic. But yeah, that's what's on tap today.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess we got to get into some of the things that have been happening in the news and those type of things. So I mean, if I gave you three guesses on what we're gonna start with, number one, you probably already figure it out. Another murder of one of our people. This time it's in Aurora, Illinois.
Mm.
Police murdered a 14-year-old black boy who was actually trying to give up. June 1st in Aurora, Illinois, 14-year-old Jardale Richardson. He was standing with a group of other, young youth, new African youth, and police approached them and they started running. Police ran after them. Now, in the video, you can hear one of the police say, "Oh, they were just shoplifting. I'm gonna light them up." That's it.
Mm.
Now, he was making reference to earlier. Actually, individuals was involved in a shoplifting case where he had a pellet gun, like a play gun. But that wasn't why they were called. I guess he just kind of put the two together. But they were chasing these individuals and they caught young Richardson, tackled him, put him to the ground. And on the tape, you hear him saying, "Okay, you got me, you got me." Basically, he was giving up. But the
Mhm.
police, like they do so many times right before they're about to execute someone, they said, "Drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun." Now, nowhere in the video do you see the gun. Where do you see him grabbing for a gun? You hear the boy saying, "You got me." The police saying, "Drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun," and then he shoots him in the stomach. And this young 14-year-old boy was basically saying, "Oh, you got me, you got me. I can't breathe. Take me to the hospital," and all of these tragic things. And he ends up dying. But yeah, I'm going to go to the video in just a second. But I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking because, well, let me just go to the video. Let me do that. Hold on, let me get it pulled up.
No! Here, grab me! Grab me! Bro! I'm sorry! I'm done! Oh, help me take his hospital! Please! Get it! Get it! I can't breathe out! Get off me! Grab me! Here, get off, no! Please! You take me to the hospital, please?
Get off the radio. Shots fired just east behind the restaurant. Give me medical fast. Cops code 4. Suspect shot in the...
And that's just some of the videos. As you saw, they're running after the brother, tackle him to the ground. You can hear him saying, "You got me." And the police kept on talking about grab the gun or to get the gun, talking about a gun. It wasn't even a real gun. So even what he was saying doesn't make sense. Like you just think that logically, why would someone who's being chased by police with real guns grab a plate gun, a toy gun? So yeah. And initially these authorities came out and they basically lied. They said, "Oh, he had a gun, he was threatening him," and all of these things. And now, we see the video, and basically they executed this brother, in my estimation. What are your thoughts on this?
You mean what we've been saying all along? Shoot first and try to clear up the situation later. Put your knee on somebody's neck. They die. Try to, manipulate the information later. Again, you clearly see that even our youth are a threat to this system. They practice all these different things when they go to the police academy and they have their drills, but it's really, really wonderful. It's a wonderful thing for them to be able to execute like they've been trained to do. And execution is swift. You don't hear them talking anybody down. "Son, put your hands up, son. Drop the weapon. Come on, calm down. Everybody's going to calm down." That's never the policy. You never hear that. And of course, it ends in tragedy. It ends in death. As you said, Brother Prophecy, it always ends in executions. That's the name of the game. And if we're not at least intelligent enough to know that now, every day is a new example. Every day is another receipt to what we've been saying. Our lives are not valued. Our youth are not valued. We are target practice. I yield.
And I'm just going to keep reiterating what we've always said. This is the reason why it's important to be totally 100% out of somebody else's jurisdiction, as a nation of people. Like this, it doesn't even make sense. It's a totally 100% against your human right, our human rights, to be treated with the utmost respect and on the planet and have access to all the abundance that the earth provides for all the people that's on the planet. The things that we want is simple. The reality is these are our children dying. Okay. This is genocide. All right. This is not the movies. We are so desensitized to our own demise. We're so self-destructive that we don't even recognize what's occurring. These are our children, men and women, Black men and women, new African men and women that you see. These are our children dying every single day, whether it's shot, whether it's in the hospital, whether it's, we're dying.
Absolutely.
We are dying. We're still at war. We're dying. This is serious business. You know, these are whole generations being lost. This is a 14-year-old child, young man in adolescence, who has people who was supposed to be the continuation of the bloodline. We're dying.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's right there, just cold-blooded murder. I mean, you know, they just executed this young man.
Condolences to the family.
Yeah, definitely. Go to the social media real quick. I see Joe Gonzalez, you checking in. How you doing, brother? Greetings, revolutionary comrades. I'm so glad I have time to join in today. Glad that you have time also. And he also writes, filthy pigs, enough is enough. We must stand tall and fight back. Stay strong, comrades. And I feel your sentiments. Exactly. We definitely.
All right, comrade.
Yeah, we definitely need to do something different than what we've been doing, because, you know, somebody said something about when you do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That's insanity.
Yeah. It is.
Exactly.
Definitely. So in other news, another story I'll do real quick. So Mississippi authorities, I think in Taylorsville, Mississippi to be exact, and this is a update of a story we did a while back. Mississippi authorities finally admit that there may be a chance that there was foul play involved in a black man who was lynched in Mississippi, a brother by the name of Rasheem Carter. Now, this is the individual who called his mother. He was working down in Taylorsville because he couldn't find employment in his hometown. So he was working in Taylorsville, several miles from where he lived, and his transportation broke down. He didn't have a car anymore, so he was depending on other people to get rides. So he was staying down there, and he was kind of stranded for a while. And he had called his mother saying that there were trucks of white men trying to kill him, and that he was having issue with his boss, and his boss was getting these white men to try to kill him. And if he ended up dying, this is who did it. He filed reports with the police department, and they basically did nothing. And I think October 22nd, and disappeared. Couldn't find him. And they found remains, a head decapitated, spine in another area, other parts in other areas. His body parts just scattered all over the woods. And they're probably still finding some of the remains still to this day. Now, initially, the authorities down in Mississippi, they said, well, you know, this is probably an animal did that, and just dismiss foul play completely. You know, but after, you know, almost a year of people protesting and raising hell down there, the police, the sheriff basically said, well, you know, we're not going to rule out the possibility of foul play. And I'm going to go to a news clip of that. You can find it.
This morning, the family of a deceased Mississippi man demanding answers after an alleged brutal racist attack and a new set of possible remains after a series of other body part discoveries. According to police, 25-year-old Rasheem Carter was last seen in Laurel, Mississippi back in October. After complaining to his mom, he was being followed by white men in trucks yelling racial epithets. Police confirm Carter sought help at a local police station.
I'm the mother that's going to keep standing, that's going to keep fighting, that's going to keep doing what I have to do as a mother to get the justice that my son deserved.
His family and civil rights attorney Ben Crump calling for justice, insisting Carter was mutilated.
We know that this was not of natural causes. This was a Mississippi lynching in 2022.
The Smith County Sheriff telling ABC News his office initially ruled no foul play was involved in Carter's death. But now the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation has taken over the case, says it's an ongoing investigation. The sheriff adding in a new statement, Quote, our goal is to uncover the truth, regardless of outside opinion or influence, and to bring closure and truth to Mr. Carter's family. According to Carter's autopsy report, a cause of death is undetermined at this time. His mother accuses local authorities of trying to sweep this case under the rug.
Mississippi, all America is watching to see if you're going to do right by Rasheem Carter.
All right. So that's that story of old story that's been out there for a while, but it's just one of them things where they have to fight and struggle to just get the necessary attention drawn to a case this obvious. The brother predicted his own death. He told it, he said, look, somebody's trying to kill me. If I end up dead, this is what happens. And he ends up dead. And the police, how can you dismiss that? Y'all have any comments on this particular story? Same thing.
My mind, I might not want to say that on camera. Let me shift it someplace else.
Well, I think that that is not only what we consider a systemic issue, but it's also a community issue. The community sometimes has to communicate and be sensitive enough to know that, okay, I'm talking to you, something's going on, let's be watchdogs, let's look out for one another. And that's all the what I call the principles of the Nguzo Saba, looking out for one another, collective work and responsibility, but it also means collective protection. And we have to know you in a separate whole dynamic in the bowels of Mississippi. We know what Mississippi represents, and that's why Mississippi has gotten away with quite a bit of injustice to our people. And I'm hoping, and I'm very proud of the brothers and sisters who have kept agitating. I'm very proud of the mother who's not satisfied and keeps digging. Does it not feel like Mamie Teal? Does it not feel like we've gone back in time? That you're not gonna find him at the bottom of a river and somewhere. You're literally finding pieces because they've gotten a little sophisticated. Just throw his body to the wind and let folks pick it up as it may. It still reeks of injustice, torture, and inhumane treatment to another human being because he may have stood up for himself. He may have told him that's not going to fly in the face of white supremacy and racism and the Jim Crow laws and anything else you want to put on there. So in my mind, another example of why it is necessary that we need to build for self, protect and defend for self, and to make sure we monitor at all times. We have to have those in place, brothers and sisters, or you're going to have more and more, and there probably are more and more. We just aren't privy to them. Mm-hmm. These things are going to happen. So it is definitely a lesson. We feel like this is TV, this is the Outer Limits, this is all those science fiction shows, but this is our lives. This is real life. And, one thing about social media is that the message will come across very, very quickly, but also don't get caught up in social media when you need to be standing and defending and protecting the community. You need to be right there on all levels, making sure that our eyes and ears are open at all times.
Exactly. And just to add to what Mama Aya was saying, look, this is our reality. We are at war. This is war tactics. Folks, our warriors is being taken out. This is what is actually happening right before our eyes. And let me just say this. Our birthright, meaning it is what it is, regardless, is abundance. Okay? We have every single thing that we need right here, right now, in the now, that we need to get up from out of this particular situation. We have everything that we need. We have every single thing that we need. The only thing that we are responsible for and that we have to hold ourselves accountable for is to make sure that our minds is shifted in the direction that it needs to be shifted. We have to comprehend and understand where we're putting our infinite reserve of power and energy. Remember, this is a system that ciphers off of us. Okay? We feed it and feed it and feed it and feed it with our attention, feed it with our intention, feed it with our work. We work it for who we working for. I'm talking about on a mass scale. Everything. So back to what Mama Ayo said, we have to do for self. We have the capability. We have all the skill set possible. What we built this whole United States corporation. We built the whole thing. Everything that's on this land right now is built from I people. Okay? We have the capabilities. We got to shift our energy. We got to hold ourselves accountable for these things that's happening, because we got that Jesus complex. If we just think if we gonna think it, it's gonna happen, right? If we can see it in our mind's eye, we don't have to do anything. But it takes people to actually make these things happen. We are part of nature. We are forces of nature. Please, include yourself in that. See, because we don't include us as forces of nature in that conversation. We always looking outside of ourselves. It is talking about whatever you believe in, right? You raise whatever that energy is up within yourself, the power within self, because it's there, right? Yep. That's how you apply it, so that we can shift our own reality. This is what has to be done. The medicine is in the work. The work that we put in, that is our medicine. Why? Because we are creating new rituals and we are creating new habits when we do that. Those habits that break status quo. And I yield back.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Visualizing something, that's the first step. You conceive it in your mind. That's the first step. You can't stay in your mind. You got to put it into existence. And you can only do that with your works, with your hands, with, your actions. So with that, we got a Cadre Corner coming up, and we're going to be talking about this website. We've been telling everybody to come visit and learn more about that when we get back on the New African Perspective. Free the land, y'all. Free the land.
America, full of promises. Time to cash them in. You run from it quick. You never keep your word. I learned from it quick. You keep abusing me. You dumb.
Europeans murdered 98% of the indigenous population right here in Turtle Island in order to steal the land. An entire nation of African people were captured and forced into a brutal system of chattel slavery just so they could work and cultivate the land. All wars are fought over land, not over terrorism, not over religion, not even to win the hearts and minds of the people, but for the actual land and the resources within the land. So it is safe to say that land is the foundation to all freedom. So if we truly want to be free, then our struggle is for land. Free the land.
Study the writings, speeches, documents of our freedom fighters in order to free our neo-colonialized minds. This is the Cadre Corner.
All righty, Mama Ayo, it's on you.
Okay, today we want to talk about the website that has been established by the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Africa. It is, of course, www.pg-rna.com. And this is a site that is designed for new Africans to register and to set up your own login, of course, information. and you will have access to important historical pieces. Of course, the Declaration of Independence. We're talking about the Creed. You're looking at historical pictures on this particular website, and also to contact anyone that needs to be contacted. Hopefully, we will have more important information as time goes on, because we're constantly updating the website. And if you go to the website and you have any problems navigating, you should definitely put something in the box, because we're always looking to update it through the Ministry of Information. Any questions we should be putting in, of course, such things as the history of the flag. We're looking at resources. We have a picture gallery that tells you a little bit more about who we are and what we are. And then, of course, we're always looking for people who want to be of service. We're looking for people who have skills that want to go into what we call work, study, and training. So we're constantly going to be adding pieces of information. And as always, with most nations, we are going to be talking about, possibly donations. And of course, logging in to make sure that you want to pay your citizen taxes monthly, which is, we're asking all families, and we're talking about families, to donate $5 a month. But as we said, go into the page, make any comments, have questions. We're always in the process of updating and kind of reformatting our website, because we have a lot of information. We just recently, of course, celebrated the 55th anniversary. There's soon going to be pictures and comments. And then, of course, we're going into national elections, and that should be up on the site. You'll notice that we do have a what we call our Great Seal that has been put on the site. So all of that, we're a work in progress. Again, that website is www.pg-rna.com. And it is specifically designed for new Africans to register, to help us with our census, so that eventually we're going to be sending you announcements, letting you know some of the upcoming events. And you may be in the area, you may be interested in establishing a certified district, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really, really excited. We have a lot of great things that are planned for our website. And so we will be just keep coming over to the website from time to time. And as we said, there is a way to communicate once you log in. Don't forget your login number. Ask questions, and especially if you are interested in a certain ministry. We have 12 ministries, and those ministries will soon be having their own what we call button, so that you can click on, find out some of the goals, aspirations, the mission statements of our ministries. And we're excited. We're excited about this new technological event that we have created for ourselves. So please give us a call, Google us. It'll lead you to other social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, pgrna.com, y'all, pg-rna.com. And
Definitely.
I yield.
Definitely. So if you haven't had an opportunity, make sure y'all check it out. There's a lot of resources there, a lot of information, and you can get information about political prisoners, and you get a link directly to all type of sites where you can directly get involved with programs helping individuals who have put in their work trying to liberate our people, and now they're incarcerated, and you can find directly how to help them out. And there's a lot of things. So yeah, that's pg-rna.com. And something that is in support of the New African Independence movement and for the struggle for independence for our people. There's a lot of people who walk around with these T-shirts that says Juneteenth, my Independence Day, in reference to the Juneteenth holiday, which brings us to our topic being that it is Juneteenth. It's a lot to unwrap. So what is Juneteenth? What should Juneteenth actually mean for us? And I guess in comparison to direction in which it could potentially head, and it looked like it might be heading that way, which you look at the commercialization of it and how European people always take things that were meant for us and they use them for their own purpose. So what should Juneteenth look like for us? How should we, whatever aspect we want to deal with this topic of Juneteenth? And I'm gonna open that up.
Yeah. You're opening up another can of worms? Oh, okay. Another creative, conscious. Well, of course, this is Juneteenth, June 19th. We want to, of course, make sure that we remember from whence we come, lest we forget. That's our battle cry, lest we forget. We have up until 2021, I believe, when it became official, we have been celebrating across this country for many, many years. I know personally, I started celebrating Juneteenth in 1978. I was in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is one of the very first centers, among the first cities that actually supported Texas, had Juneteenth celebrations every year. They may still continue it. I no longer live there. However, we've always known that September 22nd, 1862, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and it was to go into effect January 1st, 1863. According to historical records, we had a battalion of soldiers that came into Texas around June 19th, June 20th, 1865, and told the enslaved Africans that still remained under chattel slavery that, what are you doing? You're free. What's going on? You ain't heard? Well, Texas is a big state. Texas has its own, they consider themselves to be a country into itself. So they already decided among themselves that they weren't going to tell the enslaved Africans. And they knew it. They knew that the war was over, that emancipation had come, and the war was raging. Let me say the war was raging, and our brothers and sisters who were under this particular inhumane system had to be told 2 years, 2.5 years later. So we just want to show our support, and we have been showing our support without the endorsement of the U.S. government. Juneteenth celebrations have been had, and I know personally where we are in Ida B. Wells district, it has been celebrated for over 30 years. And we've been gathering as a community. We've gathered in certain areas, and the festival, the commemoration has continued. Many teachers have spoken to their students about the importance of Juneteenth, and for some reason, we don't know what the reason is or the people behind it, the United States government decided that they wanted to endorse Juneteenth, which in my mind kind of supports our claim that reparations are due, reparations are owed. You've just given us another receipt. So what are you talking about when you want to set up a commission to study the enslavement of African people? You just endorsed Juneteenth. Juneteenth historically recognizes that our people were under chattel slavery. And you need a commission to study what? That's a hinky pink. That's a contradiction. How you gonna give a holiday, but you saying reparations that you don't want to study reparations when you have just as a government declared it a federal holiday, that you recognize June 19th as an official freedom day other than January 1st, 1863. What are you talking about? What are we thinking? And another point is, as long as I have been celebrating Juneteenth, we have always had our flag as the red, black, and green. Me not know anything about the red, white, and blue flag that was developed way back in whatever 1997 by whomever. I've never seen that except recently. So we have two views. There is no kumbaya. This is a remembrance from the ancestors that you are not to forget our names, that you are to memorialize and never forget that this country owes and continues to owe. Reparations are due. And I yield.
And see, these folks is really playing, okay? They making a mockery out of Juneteenth, okay? Because much like Mama Ayo, well, I haven't been celebrating for 30 years because I'm not I'm not that age to be celebrating for 30 years, but I've been celebrating all my adult life, right? And it's always been out in the country, right? I always went to Juneteenth wherever city I lived in, and it was always like tucked off in the country, or it was always right smack in the community, right smack in our villages that we call hoods now, but right smack there, right? And it was always a matter of a commemoration in terms of how wicked these folks was, okay? And what we need to do to truly liberate ourselves. See, because the smoke screen is, you see how they feed you that flag with the same colors as the United States flag, trying to make alignments with that, like as if you received your freedom through the United States of America, right? Like that shit is real, and the reality is our children are dying in the streets. We're still prisoners of war. We have never been given a choice, okay? After quote unquote chattel slavery, the choice was not ours. It was more so, oh, you quote unquote free, go fend for yourself. And by the time you so busy fending for self, you ain't worried about what these folks is trying to wrap you up in terms of all of this paperwork and all of these word spells, and because we word bound like for real. And all we got to do is stop playing the fucking game, their game, play our own game, right? Why? Because our birthright is to be sovereign on the land. That is a human right. Can't nobody take that from you unless you give it to them. But we giving it to them. So it's just choice. We have the power. We have to reclaim our nobility of the land. We had the ways and means in which we were organized, the ways and means in which our clans and villages were organized, whatever you claim you are. I need you to claim it. Go ahead and claim it. Claim it for real. All right? Claim it for real. I'm not talking about in just word. Remember, we have to claim it in deed. See, because you representing these bloodlines, that is our responsibility. Ain't nobody going to reestablish those. Ain't nobody going to reestablish the organization of our families and clans. Huh? Okay. We the grown folks. That's our responsibility. Like we really got to take a look at self. This is all about self-improvement. This is all about how we are going to transmute and transform ourselves back into our rightful position. What is it going to take? See, because we deep into the confusion. We deep into the smoke screen, and we just playing the game because we feel like that's how we're going to get along. That's how we're going to make it to the next level. But we have to look at, as social scientists, we got to look in our reality. Are we getting to the next level? What's taking place? Look at how society, what's going on based upon the decisions that we have collectively made. Huh? We can't continue living in the fairy tale world, y'all. We got to look at our cold, hard evidence of what we're doing, what seems to be working. Oh, that's working. Oh, this is not working. Right? That's our responsibility. Can't nobody tell us. We as the scientists, we as the mathematicians, that's our job. I yield.
And Brother
Yes.
Prophecy, one thing, what the big word that I have to say about Juneteenth as of 2023 is you see a plethora of commercialization. We should not allow the commercialization of Juneteenth to kind of skew our thinking and to skew our thoughts. If you talk about Juneteenth, the next word should be, oh, Juneteenth, reparations due. Juneteenth, reparations owed. Because we're standing on the blood of our ancestors who we already retired after 357 years, no pay, sun up, sun down. And some of our people had to do an extra 2 years to make sure the indoctrination, what you call the inhumanity of man against man. So commercialization is a tactic. Let us call it a war strategy to desensitize the whole what I call the seriousness of Juneteenth. And so when we gather henceforth going forward, it should be Juneteenth, reparations due, reparations owed. And as we go forward, we want to commemorate. We want the children to come. We want the children to be told every 10 minutes, repetition, why we gather, the reason why. Do not forget, you are the torchbearers. Do not stop that cry. And that is my message. And that's the message from the ancestors. Don't you let them minimize what has happened to us. The whole question is still about reparations due, reparations owed, freeing the land. You know what you did. You know that you did it for 357 years. And it's all going to come full circle because you've made it a federal holiday. You have made it to the point where, again, you're acknowledging there was chattel slavery, because I thought they were taking chattel slavery out the history books. You done made a mistake, brothers. You done made a mistake, because you're telling us on one hand, take this history out, but you done made it a federal holiday. Everything comes back into fruition. Why you do that? But you taking our history out of the history books. Let's be vigilant. Let's be mindful. Let's never forget. Ashe.
Yes, and just to add really quickly, Brother Prophecy, really quickly to what Mama Ayo said, we got to be real about reparations conversation too, okay? Reparations is the repair. All right, now if you want crackers to put reparations on the table, you got to understand why they is not going to put reparations on the table. Why? Because if you put reparations on the table in real life, in real time, these folks got to get up on out of here. Okay? Like it's over. Like you got to go back to the abyss of Europe, back into the Caucasus Mountains. You understand? Like literally speaking, honestly speaking. So that's not something that they're attempting to put on the table. They're willing to talk about it if you come in with some minimal numbers. Right? That's not going to take them out the game. Okay. Because, realistically speaking, anything coming from them, you got to give it all up. You repair. If you stole something, you got to give it back. Right? That's how you fix what you have stolen. That's a real conversation, the only real conversation. All of this half going in, that's not a real conversation, Yeah. Yet the repair of ourselves. See, we can, the reason why we made no law, and when I say law, I'm talking about natural law. We may know our relationship with the land. We may know our claims to the land. We may know all of that, right? But remember, you have law and you have execution of law, right? And the divine balance is law and execution of law. If we is weak on the execution of law, it's not going to happen, y'all. Yep. Those that's listening should know what I'm talking about in terms of execution of law. You know, it is not popular. So it's certain things that we have to do, or it's not happening. You know, we can make all the claims that we want to. It does not matter if you are not ready to make it stable and substantial, and make it real, and execute on it, and bring it into fruition, and push through to bring it to fruition, and discipline ourselves enough to be able to bring it into fruition, because it's not going to happen easy. You got to lift some mental muscle, physical muscle, right? Spiritual muscle. It's muscle. And yes, creating a new habit can be very uncomfortable. But we in an uncomfortable situation. It's life or death. This is what we have to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think something you're talking about is the difference between having rights and having power. And I think Bob Amin was talking about this in a broadcast earlier. I mean, we can have the right to do a whole lot of things. After slavery, they gave us all kind of rights on paper, but we had no power to enforce it. And that's what we have found ourselves today. We don't have the power to take the things that are rightfully ours. And that's what we got to fight for. Actual power to do these things. But going back to Juneteenth, it's really important that we do not allow the white power structure to control the narrative of what Juneteenth is and what it's about and what it represents. Because a lot of this, you talked about this red, white, and blue flag that I even wasn't aware of, you know, until you just said it. I've actually seen it, but I just brushed it off. It's like, I don't know nothing about no Juneteenth with no red, white, and blue. I don't acknowledge that. But you know, not only that, but you see, you know, it's labeled as Freedom Day. And a lot of people say, you know, it's our Independence Day. It's not the 4th of July for Black people. Juneteenth is our Independence Day, when the reality of it is neither the 4th of July nor Juneteenth is our Independence Day, because we have never gained independence under this system in America. We lost our independence as soon as we was placed under the system of chattel slavery. And we have not gained it since then. So Juneteenth should be a celebration of our struggle, in a renewed in a reminder of what we are here to do and what we have to do. I always think that any opportunity we get to teach about our history, to teach about our culture, and to gain momentum about our struggle, we should take maximum advantage of that. Period. So we can't allow these European people, the mainstream media, to say, well, yeah, Juneteenth is we're celebrating the win and the victory of the liberation of Black people, like the struggle is over. No, it's not. And I like what you say, you know, it should be a reminder. Yeah, reparations now. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand what reparations is. Reparations is repair. It ain't a check you just give to us and say, oh, you're good, go about your business. No, it includes land. It includes repairing us. In fact, the reality of it is, as Madam President said, if you're really serious about reparations, them white folks cannot repay us for what they do. They got to give up everything in order to even come close to it, you know? So like I say, it's very important that we do not allow these European people to colonize the story of Juneteenth. I mean, first and foremost, you know, even when we're talking about the history of it, the Emancipation Proclamation, that wasn't written to free enslaved people. Abraham Lincoln didn't free enslaved people. He did that as a war tactic because the North was getting their butts whooped by the South in the war. And what he did was he said, everybody, all the states that are in rebellion from the Union, we're gonna free your enslaved Africans. That's what you did. And in fact, it was like 11 states, but he only addressed 10 of them because Tennessee was already controlled by the North. So in fact, he didn't even free the enslaved people in Tennessee with the Emancipation Proclamation. In fact, it was like 4 states that were border states, like Delaware, Kentucky, and 2 others that were not even covered by that. In fact, Delaware and Kentucky continued to slavery continued to exist months after Juneteenth. You know, actually, that we don't even talk about in history. And if you want to be technical about it, there were still slaves in America until 1963 that we know of. A sister by the name of May Louise Walls Miller, documented enslaved in Mississippi, escaped in 1963. 1963. you know. And as far as we know, there still might be people enslaved because there are so many rural areas in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama that was disconnected from the greater part of society that the people didn't even know that slavery was over. There was 1963. This sister and her family did not know that slavery was over. They thought that the entire world was still in a condition of slavery. They made a movie about it. It's on Netflix. It's called Alex. It's roughly based on that story, you know. It's fictitious, but I mean, it's interesting to watch. But so we got to be clear. Juneteenth, you know, it basically represents the end of a particular form of slavery. Particularly the end of legalized chattel slavery, but it just evolved into another form in which we're still suffering from and still fighting today. So we got to be clear. Juneteenth, we got to celebrate it and got to use every opportunity to put our history out there and put the pressure on these people. But, you know, don't get it twisted. Don't believe the hype. This is not... You know, this is not about, yeah, we made it. Barack Obama was president. So, woo, you know, that ain't what this is, you know. And
let's not talk about that.
Go to some of these comments. We got quite a few comments.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
How you doing to our brother Freedom Power? I see you back checking in. Good to hear from you again. He said, I wish we had the collective unity to tell that rabbit devil Joe Biden and all the rest of them devils to take that capitalist Juneteenth holiday and shove it up their whited nationalist and sign an executive order for HR 40 and create a new updated field order number 15. I'm just
hello. Give us back our land mass that was originally ceded, and we would have been fine.
Yep.
You're correct, brother.
Yep, correct. And that's a good point, because like the only reason why they signed Juneteenth as a federal holiday is because you had so many mass uprising from what happened with George Floyd that America was so pissed that they afraid that a revolution could be around the corner. Real revolution could be around the corner if they didn't do anything. So this Juneteenth, a federal holiday, that's a pacifier. Like, see what we're doing for you. You know, we acknowledge a holiday that y'all been celebrating on your own anyway. You know, confidence, Chizoro, okay,
sister.
Metaphysics, we have ways to do it. Get next to institutions we all know. Somebody in Urban League, AME churches, NOI, get next to somebody. Nothing is impossible. And yeah, definitely nothing is impossible. It's, you
Come
know,
on, comrade. I agree.
It's ways to deal with these things. Freedom Power, again, glad to see you being active. Biden is one of the principal perpetrators of the 13th Amendment slavery of thousands of Black fathers with the 1994 crime bill. And his sorry ass is handing us a Juneteenth holiday that we are celebrating just fine all these years without his fake ass capitalistic holiday. White people should have to work today or not get paid.
They should be working for free for 357 years and see how that feels to them. They literally need to go through a desensitization program. I love that, comrade. They need to be put in a farming situation and work sun up, sun down with people who look like them, by the way, and see how that feels for them. They couldn't even last a week knowing that they had to do all of that without the so-called modern technology. That's the kind of programs we want to put them through, because they would melt and fold. So it shows our strength, and we didn't get a chance to live long. It shows that we were on fight or flight every second since the time they were seizing our comrade brothers and sisters from the village. That's a lot of epigenetic energy and genetic recoding that we've had to bear witness to. So, brothers and sisters, for me, the ancestors keep saying, don't you let them forget. They cannot forget. You have to remember.
Oh no, they can't forget, you know. And for the quote unquote good white people, your job is to fix your people. Okay, stop coming over here as if you got the answer for people that you do not have a similar bloodline to. All right. You do not have the answer for us. You have never had the answer for us. Even if you want to do good, go do good in your community. See, because your grandfathers, your greats, your great greats, what you find in the house, those houses of your great greats. See, that's what I want to be talking about. Huh? You got work to do in your own. Stay over there. Okay. Right now, we need our own so that we can go through the proper healing process that our people need. Huh? When you are in a serious situation and you are facing life or death, you need to eliminate you need to be 100% eliminated from the problem that's causing that. Okay. So right now the system of racism, white supremacy, capitalist system, this particular system that's what's making us sick. Okay. So we need to be 100% separated from that which is making us sick so that we can take full responsibility for I and I. All right. That's the real, that's the real conversation, because hey, if you want to send money, fine, send money, but keep your opinion to yourself.
Definitely. Interesting. That's an interesting concept principle. Having white people work for free. If we do that, the funds in which they should raise should go in support to the new African nation, because the years of us working went to the building of this Western white power structure. It made them rich beyond. But anyway, how you doing, brother? Olufemi,
comrade, I say.
How you doing, brother? Good to hear from you. He said, we playing the game, but are we really trying to win? That's a good, interesting statement right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot you can talk about that, because like if we talking about this nationhood thing, then we got to be serious about it. We really got to be serious about it. It ain't a play thing. So, because a lot of times I see a lot of our people like to play checkers when we're playing a chess game. So we got to be real intentional about what we're doing and real serious about the ideas and concepts of nation building. He said peace and black power, free land to you too. Sister Erica, how you doing, sister? He said we wasn't taught about Juneteenth in school. I had to learn about everything on my own. And yep, that's about how it goes.
Yes,
most things we don't learn in school because it's like in this mainstream society and culture, it's kind of their job to make sure that they maintain this system, and this system is ran in fueled by the oppression and exploitation of our people. So they're not going to teach about anything that's going to actually liberate us in any meaningful way. They're only going to try to make sure that they maintain this system so it continues to flow. They only start to teach things about us when we're so dissatisfied that our actions become a threat to the system. So they got to give a little in order to try to pacify us so we won't just tear this thing down. So that's why we need our own schools, period.
Absolutely.
You see,
I agree.
And let us be very clear, y'all, extremely clear. When we say we want our own institutions, right? We're not talking about our own institutions that mimic white institutions that we are already in. Let's be very clear, because we have a lot of brothers and sisters that think that just because it is a black highly melanated face, that you're about to get exactly what you need. If those highly melanated faces are organizing within the paradigm of capitalism, within the paradigm of white supremacy, like keeping the same systems. And we got to be really, really, really critical of ourselves when we do these things. Okay, these systems don't work for us. All right. And that is an example of our conditioning. We will take the conditioning that we have picked up from all of these different institutions that we've been in the United States of America, and we'll carry them over. That does not work for us. Whatever we build, that institution has to support our nation. It has to be built upon the principles that we stand on, and it has to support what it is that we're building. All right. So that takes a lot of tactical creativity on our end in terms of what that looks like to execute. We in the perfect position right now because the infinite possibilities as us as creators on the planet is infinite, right? Yeah,
Appreciate it.
infinite
That's a great
with
comment.
with specific and absolute intention. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Brother Obafemi, how you doing again? How do we quantify the theft of culture, language, etc., the blood debt that is owed? And the answer to that is you really can't.
Really,
It's not a
you
dollar
cannot.
sign. It's not a land amount. It's nothing that exists that they could ever do to repay what they have done. So
No, there isn't, but there is always what we call restitution. We say under our reparations act, it's called the Reparations Act that was presented to the U.S. Congress in 1987 on behalf of the Republic of New Africa, that we want, of course, we want what we call a Marshall Plan, or what we will call a Lumumba Obadeli Plan, to rebuild the 5 states in the South, to put those institutions, to help put those institutions. Our citizens, whoever consider themselves New African and who have pledged to the Republic of New Africa, you have the right. If you want to stay in the North, if you want to stay in the West, you want to stay in the East, you have that right, understanding that you will be under capitalism and imperialism and white supremacy racism. And if you want to repatriate to Africa or to the Caribbean, wherever your soul, wherever your spirit takes you, you should have free passage, if you understand what I mean. We have the right to do that. And of course, at the time, we had a list of political prisoners. We still have political prisoners. We want our husbands, fathers, brothers, sisters, mothers out of incarceration, particularly when it's bogus and when the
okay, look like Mama Ayo just dropped out. Man, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can pick back up.
Yeah, when I get a phone, when I get a phone call, it messes up the reception. So we're saying that if you look at our Reparations Act, and it's been in effect since 1987, same things remain, and our citizens need to get a paycheck, because what we're trying to do is build a nation. We're going to be repurposing, remodeling homes, schools, reinstituting cultural values, understanding what we're trying to build, how we're trying to build it, and making sure that for our children, we are going to be setting up security, making sure we do trade. We have that right to do trade with Africa. Africa has to open up to its citizens that were sent away, stolen away, whatever dynamic that looks like. So we're calling on the entire African world to join our cry. And even if they don't join our cry, we're going to say we support reparations worldwide, African world reparations, because we are calling on citizens, New Africans, whether you want to be or not, send your money, like people of Arab descent, Lebanese descent, send their money to the PLO. We're still at war, just like the PLO, and they're still supported. They're still struggling. They haven't been decimated. Send your $5 a month so that we can help build New Africa. We can offer institutions to our youth, to our citizens, to come down, build on the land, live on the land, reproduce on the land, and build our empire if you choose to stay on this landmass. And if you don't, you will have the resources to repatriate where you want to repatriate. So those are the issues that we all have to internalize. Those are the issues. Those are the things that we talk about. Part of the new African independence movement. A lot of people aren't centered in the 5 states in the South. They're outside the 5 states. They're doing wonderful jobs for the communities. But is anybody building our nation? Is anybody taking the time to spend $5 a month? You spend more than $5 a day. You are taxed on everything you do, from groceries to cigarettes to whatever, to CBD to anything. You're taxed, and we can't pause for the cause, pausing for the cause, and then finding those collectives that's giving back to our people other than just our communities. That means that our strategy and tactics have not been bought. They have not been internalized, because it's real easy now that we have technology. Cap Ash is easy, y'all. Cash App is easy. All you do is put in $, capital PGRNA, $5 on behalf of Kofi family, monthly dues, and you in there, a citizen on record, doing what you can. And every now and then, when we get a little reparations undercover, send a little extra more. So I love Baba Obafemi's. Are we really, really, really about this business? Because we got the receipts to say, we talking, but we not walking. And I yield.
And really quickly, since you already mentioned it right now, just go ahead and do that now. You're on your device. Go to Cash App and type in $PGRNA. Go ahead and send that 5 now. Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it.
Because we are going to have to go. Yep.
Ain't no need to be talking about that. That's that's a given. Go ahead and do that.
All right. Brother Yumwa Abantum, number 2, we said, shout out to Obafemi of Arkansas. He's a new African MC king and father. He's promoting Kush District. I push for Florida's Kush District and DMV as triple headquarters. Okay, big ups to you, brother. Freedom Power. Yes, Mama Io. Hell yeah, Mama, sister. Sama. They need to experience a snippet of what we went through for 400 plus years. We should create a reserve chattel slavery simulator and see how many of them would volunteer to go through it. I'm down with that initiative. Confidence Chizoro Okeke. We need a Kush District One Nation album with Obafemi and Prophecy. Tupac was on to something. Set it off like Latifah. I'm down for that. We can do that whenever. We can make that happen. Definitely. Queen T Jones, how you doing, Miss Queen T? Good to hear from you. Yeah, free the land, family. Happy progressive Juneteenth. Definitely. Freedom Power. Teach Mama Io. Obafemi again. Erica Wooden. Our nation, communities, families have the responsibilities to teach what we need. Definitely. And that was in response to her comment about she never learned about Juneteenth until she got basically out of school. And he's saying, well, hey, we are responsible to teach our own. We can't depend upon them people to teach us anything, but do anything but miseducate us. You see, Brother Abantum number 2.
And we just keep sending our children, just keep sending them. Y'all, look now. All right now, look, that's your precious cargo. Okay, just keep doing that.
Let me see it. Let me see. Mama is saying it all. There is a Jamaican Southern ambassador, Oliver Meir. Also, was that Fabian Leon? I think it would be beautiful to connect them to Kush District PGRNA directly. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. We definitely should connect our people with individuals who we are like-minded, and we got to make them alliances overseas. So no doubt. He said, my card is negative. Shaking my head, I will send $5 Thursday payday. You ain't even got to announce that, brother. Just, do what you can when you can, and that'll be great. But we got to get into this Black Power file next. And we're moving into the anniversary. Well, we had just passed the anniversary of the insurrection, the rebellious plot of our great brother Denmark VZ this past weekend, actually. So we're gonna get into that right after this. The new African Perspectives. Free the land, y'all.
Be real. I fight for land, independence, and for reparations. We gotta do for self-determination.
Being independent is a very, very good thing, because it means that you don't have to be dependent, especially on people who don't like you. I mean, growing your own food, like teaching your own babies our real history, the real truth.
As a people, we are not grown unless we have independence. We are not grown as long as we living under another man's system, operating in his way of things, his laws, and his ordinances that support his rule, actually. So to me, it's not the importance of self-determination and independence. It is mandatory.
We could make a change, get off our ass, do something else. Go get some land together, grow our food and do for self. Create our own stores, our own banks, start building wealth. Break them generational curses and start healing self. See with my last breath.
These men who call themselves master have set themselves up as false gods, and the Bible forbids us to honor them, so we must do what we are about to do. We have gathered some weapons. I have blacksmiths forging more. How many men have we to arm?
At the shipyard, we've got over 100 good men, all willing to fight to the end.
John.
At the livery stable, I'm watched very carefully, but I've managed to recruit about 20 men from several plantations.
We need a much stronger force to cordon off the city and seize the arsenals to start the rebellion. 20 years. I've planned this rebellion, 20 years. Everything I have done in this life has been focused on this moment. They may know there is a plan to take the city. So we'll move up the date and still take them by surprise. That's our advantage.
And that was a clip from a movie that was actually about Denmark VZ and his rebellion. And as some of us may know, the anniversary of that rebellion just passed. It was June 16th. Originally, the rebellion was supposed to be held on July 14th, but word got out. We had these little snitches in our midst, so they moved it up to June 16th, and it was it did not start because we had individuals who sold out our great brother Denmark VZ. But at the time, throughout South Carolina, there was estimated up to as many as 9,000 individuals who was ready to go and rebel. I mean, if he could have went through with that, the whole history could have been changed. We might have an independent nation right there in South Carolina, based on a war that he was about to start. But with that, this what do y'all think about our great brother Denmark VZ?
I think that was a test of those who believe in freedom and those who are content to be the footstools, the mats of the master. Remember what Harriet Tubman said: I could have freed a whole bunch more slaves if they had understood that they were slaves, because by that time, remember, there had been several generations of enslaved Africans, and they were fear came in. the belief that they were going to get their justice one day, a spiritual belief that everything was going to be all right. And so we have people who are always indoctrinated, who are always given a little crumb and think that it's their job to go back. They become the gatekeepers for the master, the person who is the conqueror. And unfortunately, a lot of laws were changed based on these rebellions. And remember, Denmark Vesey they were already hearing what Toussaint Louverture was attempting to do. And a lot of slave rebellions broke out because they heard that Haiti was maneuvering, and that they had beat the British, beat the French. It wasn't just one colonial power. So we have a lot. We have to be vigilant among ourselves. We know that we can cite many examples of people who have betrayed the race in what do we call it? Sometimes it's deliberate, and sometimes it's because we are uneducated and misinformed. So it is very important to recognize Denmark Vesey, to honor that he did a great thing on behalf. There's a church, I think it's called Mother Emanuel Church. Everybody heard about it, and Brother Prophecy, you can tell them a little bit more, because remember what happened. They're related. Those events are related. Make no mistake. We've been to South Carolina. That was where our 55th was. We did a couple of what we call preliminary visits, and that entire particular country we're going to call South Carolina and the Gullah Geechee Islands have a strong legacy, history. We know that South Carolina is one of those ports that about 23 to 30 something percent of enslaved Africans came through that port. That's a lot. So we there's a lot of things that we have to just kind of tie in and remember, and even incorporate into our thinking, so that we can give a more what we call an objective reality about it. And then related to today, things are happening in South Carolina right now because of what Denmark Vesey has done, what the Gullah Geechee represents, and Olatunji village, and the people who are the landowners, the true landowners. So it's an amazing phenomenon just to pull all that information together. And with that, I yield.
Exactly. And I think it's interesting that, Denmark Vesey was originally from the islands. Like, he was born in was it the Virgin Islands, or came through Barbados or something? But he came through the islands now. And remember, y'all, this is world human trafficking during that time. Like, that was our reality. Like, he came in through South Carolina from the islands. Okay. So sometimes I don't think we make all of these different things click. Like, this is some real people are coming. These folks is trading folks at all of these different ports. They didn't care where you came from.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So they didn't care. They didn't care where you came from. And I think it was amazing how they was like, look, Haiti. See, because he was from the islands, you know what I'm saying? Haiti, he like, look, let's look to Haiti for a place where we can go for exile, because they done won their battle with the French. This is how our people was planning and moving during that time. Like, we have to go. We got to go where we're going to be 100% supported, and our futures are going to be 100% supported. So yeah, I think it's we always have those ones. It's important for us to pay close attention. Like, as we're moving about, pay close attention. Do your intel. Pay close attention to what people say versus what they do. Okay. Exactly. Pay close attention to those contradictions within self and within the collective. All right. See, because those contradictions turn and grow into a bigger contradiction. Right. These are important things that we We at war. Remember, this is not just a physical war. This is a mental war, a spiritual war, a psychological war. We have to be aware of what's happening around us. You know what I'm saying? And really and truly, if we are death dealing, okay? We death deal. We deal with death all the time in terms of purposefully and unpurposefully. Some of us know that certain things are not beneficial to us, are not good for us, but what do we do anyway? We got to stop doing that. That's where the compromises come, and that's how we lose in this battle. Our compromises. And that's that's for every last one of us in terms of how the ways and means in which we compromise, because this is not a compromising situation. Are these people compromising with us? Huh? Is it a compromise? No, it's by force. So, you know, hey, we should not be compromising. Stop compromising.
Definitely. Go to some more of the comments. Brother Bufimi, he said, I just watched this movie last night with my queen, Brother Future, and that's correct. That's the name of the movie that the Denmark Visit clip came from. Brother Future. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's about a young youth who, was kind of on the wild side, who, got into an altercation, got hit on the head, and was transferred back to the past, and the days of enslavement, and was there to witness the rebellion, the plan of Denmark Vesey. It's actually a really good movie. So if you have a chance to watch it, it's pretty cool. Confidence Chizoro or KK, June 16th. Vesey's revolution and Tupac's birthday. Wow. AME Gullah Geechee Nation. Definitely. You know what? 17th is actually your brother Prophecy birthday too. So yeah, June got it going on. Joe Gonzalez, due diligence in seeing the grander scale of things. No doubt about it. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and thank you for your comments, and thanks for all the participation and the farther participation that we're going to get from everybody as we go on this journey of nation building and true liberation, not that pseudo liberation. Anything you want to say before we get out of here? Sama?
Stay vigilant. Like stay constantly when we talk about repair self first. Start with your home. Start with, certain things that we know that we do to support this particular system, and start looking at the ways and means in which you can shift that. We have our founding documents at the pg-rna.com. In terms of what it is that we're building, we have our Declaration of Independence, we have our Code of Emotion, we have our economic plan, we have a blueprint, right? We have a very good blueprint, yet the blueprint has to come alive. And it comes alive with you and I, putting in the necessary work, which we already know that work is the medicine to bring these things alive. We have to stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. It seems as though we want to now learn the same, keep constantly learning the same lessons, right? That they've already went through some process already. All we got to do is sit down and study what has already been laid down and say, okay, in this time, right now, what is us moving forward in alignment with the principles? What does that look like? So these are the things that we have to incorporate our due diligence and make sure that we cross all T's and dot all I's, so to speak.
Definitely. Real quick, the last couple of comments come in. He said, happy belated birthday, King Prophecy. Thank you, brother. Thank you so very much. Joe Gonzalez, thank comrades for another great platform. Free the land. All power to the people. Thank you, Brother Joe Gonzalez. And I'll just say, concerning Juneteenth, it's not something that we're just supposed to celebrate, reflecting on the past. We're supposed to celebrate a struggle that is ongoing right now. That means that you, I, all of us have a responsibility to continue this struggle on. And with that, my name is Brother Prophecy, and we will see y'all again next week. On the new African Perspective. Join the rest of the shows that I'm sure y'all gonna be on tomorrow morning. So I couldn't hear you. Your mic was muted.
Yes, we are.
Okay, gotcha. So make sure we tune in for that, and we'll see y'all again next week, y'all.
Brother Prophecy.
Yes.
Brother Prophecy. I don't know if Sister Saj shared with you, but we are having an orientation this Thursday.
Okay.
The people from the African Village, they've gone through the first meet and greet. They've come on to one of our shows. One of our broadcasts. On I think it was the first Monday of the first Tuesday of the month. They still have questions, so we do have to meet them face to face so that they can go ahead and sign up. I need you to get in touch with Brother Kokai. He needs to come on in this investment association.
Okay. And we still live, Mama.
We're still live, Mama Aya.
We still live.
Yeah.
We starting to do business. See, don't just stop with the show, y'all. We got to continue. Keep it moving. But
I need him to verify so we can go ahead and handle that business.
We'll do. But with that, we'll see y'all again next week, y'all. Free the land, free the land, free the land.
By any means.
If you could see what I see, our community in unity, no frustration.